Hello and welcome to North Star Stamper. I am Sue Kramer and today I am starting a brand new series and I'm calling it Let's Talk About, and today we're talking about stamps. Let's see if I can find myself here. I'm not finding myself. Hello, it says somebody is with me. Maybe it's myself. I'd like to be able to interact with you, so I'm going to keep, there we go. I think. All right. Hello, Alma. Thank you for joining me live. It's so fun to chat with people. So today, like I said, we're talking about stamps. So I want to be sure you know all the places you can find me on the web. I try to post regularly. I'm still working on being regular poster on Pinterest. This is another video I will be putting on YouTube. So if you're watching me on YouTube, please leave me a comment and let me know you watched. That would be awesome. I can tell how many people have watched, but I don't know who you are. So I'd love to interact with you too. I just find it much easier to do the Facebook Lives. Long story. So we'll just leave it at that. So let's get started. All right. So we're talking about stamps. I don't claim to be an expert. I've been stamping for 22 years. It's kind of exciting to think about that. And I can share with you what works for me. Obviously things will work differently for you, but I'm always happy to share what I know and what works. And so if something works differently for you, let me know. We can chat about that. I am a lefty, so I don't know if that has something to do with why things could be different for me than you. There are some tips and tricks that I will share with you along the way. So this is our beginner brochure. It's titled Make Beautiful Things. If you don't have one of these and would like a paper copy, let me know. You can leave a comment here or whatever, just get in touch with me. You can get a PDF of this online on my website through my Stampin Up website. I think my blog, these are my stamps, I think he has put a link there as well. I should check that. So there are stamps in here that are not in the annual catalog. The idea behind the beginner brochure was that the annual catalog, which is almost 200 pages, is overwhelming to new stampers. If you remember when you started that annual catalog, you're like, where do I start? I don't know what to do. Well, this is their Stampin' Up's answer to that question. Where do you start? So they do talk, give you some ideas, if you can see here. So these 5 items you can purchase using one code, and you would get those 5 items, and it makes it easy. And then they show you here those 5 items. So if you're just getting started, that's a great place to start. This is the stamp set I'm going to be stamping with a little later on. It's just so cute. Look at the bright cherry. And something, if you're just getting started, this assortment of Stampin' Spots, oh sorry, I don't have one handy. They are, I believe, an inch, but yeah, 1 inch square, you can see. And this pack comes in 8 different colors, and those are the 8 colors we'll be using tonight, which go really well with the fruit. So that'd be a good place to start. It gives you, you know, a nice variety of colors that you could use. I was thinking about the colors they include, and there aren't a lot of dark earth tone that I would use on a masculine card. I think the best you could do would be this lighter blue, and the gray would be about as masculine as you get with those. A lot of flowers and fruit, I think, with those colors. There's a zebra. I believe that stamp set is in the annual catalog. Those first 2 stamp sets are not in the annual catalog. This one as well is in the annual catalog, so you may have seen that before. That's Hooray to You. Nice big stamp with a lot of techniques you can do with a big stamp like that. Again, if you're just getting started, an all-inclusive kit might be the way to go. So for an investment of $32, you get a stamp set, a block, which I'll talk about in a minute, some ink, and then all these pieces, and I believe it might even include adhesive. It does. So you've got glue dots and dimensionals, which is a foam adhesive to give you a little height on the things you include. So they would put a dimensional under the sentiments and things. But everything you need in one kit, great to take on the go. I know people who take these when they're camping because it comes in a box and very easy to travel with it. And then we have our monthly kit called Paper Pumpkin, and it's generally a surprise. They're getting more in the habit of showing us what's in the kit before, so you know what you're getting before you order it. And that is you can get it for 1 month, you can get it for 6 months, you can stop it and restart whenever you want, and that is $22 a month. And you get a stamp set every month and an ink spot. So if you get Paper Pumpkin for 12 months, I'm talking a lot, I need a drink. They don't, you would get at least 12 different colored ink spots in that year. They don't repeat, so that's kind of fun. Easy way to build your ink colors. And then some other things that you might need. Scissors you probably have already. A paper trimmer, you could just use scissors. Adhesives, and we'll talk about that. I think we'll do another Let's Talk About Adhesives one day. We'll do another Let's Talk About Paper, Let's Talk About Ink. But today we're talking about stamps. So let's get started. Hello, I see some more family members watching me live. Hello, and thank you for joining me. Okay, so this is that stamp set that I showed you in the beginner brochure, called Cute Fruit. And this is how it comes in this case. And it's a photopolymer, so you can see right through it. And it comes just like this. And I'm going to show you the different kinds of stamps. So let's talk about this one first. So it comes with this thin, right now they might be changing this, they've talked about it, thin layer, and then this heavier layer actually has, see, I took what I consider the rind of the watermelon or the lemon or lime, and they've stamped it on with black ink, so you know right where that stamp goes. When I get a brand new photopolymer stamp set, if I can not be in a hurry to actually use it, and sometimes I forget to do this, what I do is I take a lighter color ink. I have Smoky Slate or Pear Pizzazz, just something that isn't real dark. You can see that some of these are stained. Can you tell that stained? The watermelon slice the rind a little bit, especially our red inks. I don't know what's in them. But I think this helps a little with that staining. So I ink the whole, and I only do this once, the first time before I ever use any of the stamps. I ink the whole set on there. And I do that a couple times. My husband's a scientist, and I should have asked him I don't know if it's in the processing of the creation of the stamp, and they've left something behind that makes it stain or what, but so I do that a couple times just like that, and then I think I get less staining on my stamps. So to clean my stamps, I think we'll just go talk about each thing as we go. You could just use a wet paper towel and clean off the ink. Usually it would be on a block, and I would just kind of stamp on the wet paper towel. So that's something. If you're just getting started, I would just use a wet paper towel. Other things we offer in the catalog, I think it's page 163 of the current annual catalog, is Stampin' Mist and a Stampin' Scrub. So you would spritz your Stampin' Mist on the scrub. Here I have a block. You can see that one's really stained. I'll just clean that. You spray it, scrub on one side, dry on the other. And that's a way to clean your stamps. What I do most of the time now is we have this product called a Stampin' Chamois. And it comes and it's a lavender. So the first time you use it, it gets stained if you've used black or gray ink. And you just get it wet and run it, take it to your sink, wring it out. And then I keep a quarter piece to pick up and use to clean off stamps. You've seen me use this in videos. So this is the Stampin' Chamois, which is what I use most of the time to clean my stamps. All right, so that's photopolymer stamps. We will come back to this when we actually do some stamping. The next kind of stamp set are called cling stamps. This one actually isn't a cling, but I want to show you your cling stamps come, and they are red rubber, and they come with the these layers on. That's a foam cushion, and they come just like this. You can see I've put labels on some of them, and they give you this separate sheet that has the labels. So I'm going to show you how I put them on. There are a couple different ways, and we can talk about it as we go. So one side is just smooth. The other side, if you look close, there's a slit there. It's actually cut. So you can take off one side of the liner. The stamp is quite old, so I'm hoping this will still work. Can't believe I haven't put this together. All right, so there it's sticking to my thumb, and I don't want that to happen, so we'll just set that, hopefully set that there. All right, then I'm going to take the stamp that coordinates with it, so I'm stamp on, and it comes, there's a liner on this side too, and you have to take that off as well. This is garbage. The easiest way I find, and I'll try to come close, is to line up one corner and then lay the second corner. Can you see that? And then just lay it down. It wasn't sticking on the liner there. So, and then I would rub it. That should be on there. And then rub this side. And then you have your label on there. So as I said, we don't have this kind anymore. This was called a cling mount. This was a clear mount, because obviously you can't just stamp with this. You're going to need a clear block. Oh, we should have talked about this. Clear blocks too with the photopolymer. So what I do is I set that down, press the acrylic block on it, and then lift it, and then you can stamp. It's ready to go. This was called a clear mount. That we no longer have clear mount, we have cling stamps. This is a prize peony. It's in the new annual catalog again. So many words today. You can see these are really sticky. They added an adhesive to this. You can see this. Let me get this out of the way. This is the old one. This is the one I just put on. It doesn't stick to anything. It just adheres to the, it kind of clings, I guess but this actually has adhesive on it. If your cling stamps aren't sticky anymore, if you've got ink on it, somebody touched it with dirty fingers, whatever, I would just take this to the sink and try to wash it, but try not to get too much water on the sides here. I think they added the cling to it because these smaller stamps would fall off the block. This is a bigger stamp, so that one, it did come off too. So if you hold it for 10 seconds, push right on top of the stamp, it should adhere better. See there, there it goes. I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to bump the camera. So anyway, cling mount are the new ones. Let's make sure these are all here. Make sure I don't lose any. All right, we'll use the peony another week. The last type of stamp we have, so we've talked about photopolymer and cling. Our background stamps do still come. You can purchase them with the wood mount. So this is a clear mount. It's not the cling, but the ones you would order now. You can see how thin this case is. I usually don't even adhere this to a block. We do sell a very large block that this would fit on. How big is this? It's bigger than a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card, so it's probably 4.5 by 6 or something. I'm not exactly sure, but you can purchase the wood mount, and you would just mount it kind of like I did the one I showed you that's stamp on, except you mount it permanently to your wood. It is so handy to have wood mount stamps. I keep this little happy birthday next to my stamp space, and if I'm making a card and just want to make it a quick happy birthday, it's ready to go. I don't have to find a block and find the stamp, first of all, find the block and adhere it, and it is very convenient. But I think a lot of people like the clear mount and not the wood mount because it takes up half the space. So in wherever you store your stamps, you can store twice as many stamps, which kind of makes me happy too. So anyway, So those are the stamp types we have, and a little bit about cleaning them. Please ask questions as we go along. I'm trying to remember to cover everything. I'm trying. All right. Let's see if I can reach through and grab that stamp before I forget about it. Okay, I don't think I... Let's put this away. So, our cute fruit. So we're gonna just make... And, oh, I should say stamps should last you a long time. Like I said, I've been stamping for 22 years, and I have stamps that are 22 years old. They're rubber stamps, and they do seem a little dry, but I honestly don't use those all that often because I keep buying new ones. So we are going to make this, and we're going to talk about the colors and placement and all that as we make it. Let me make sure... All right. I think we'll just keep going. So our most popular size, and if you look at this list of items they include with this, I won't call it a suite, I think they call it a package or something, is a clear black D, and that's what this is. Oh, I should talk about if your stamps don't stay on your block, chances are your block and or your stamp are dirty. I think we still sell this. And I don't use this cleaner very often. What I usually do if they aren't sticking, it means there's something on my block that is causing the stamp not to stick. So I take this to my sink and I wash it with when I wash my hands. Same whatever soap you have at your bathroom sink or kitchen sink to get your blocks clean. You can just wipe it and get it a little cleaner than it would even on your pants. I do that too. Okay, so we're going to make this card here, and they suggest white cardstock. I think what I would suggest instead of white cardstock are note cards and envelopes. They don't make a full-size card. I think these are 3.5 by 5. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, actually. The note cards are on page 153, and so I can look it up. Note cards are 3.5 by 5. Yep. And so they come 20 note cards in envelopes, 20 note cards and then 20 envelopes. You can get very vanilla or whisper white. These are the whisper white. So they're smaller, but for just a quick note to a friend that's thinking of you, or in this case, it says, I couldn't ask for a sweeter friend. So I'm just going to take one of those. Actually, I'm going to show you something else. I think we're doing good on time, aren't we? All right. So what I did, and these are scored, I just took my trimmer and is it 3? I can't see. The lighting is in here is bad. Or did I say 3.5? Sorry, 3.5. So what I did was I took the note card and I just trimmed it. So I now have 2, obviously. And I'll show you what we're going to do, why I did that after I stamp. So maybe you'll stick around and I'll show you what I'm going to do. All right. So there's our half a note card. And I'm going to start with the sentiment. Just because of placement, and I want to be sure I have enough room for it. So I'm just going to peel it off here. I like to lay it down. These are bendable, so if you want to curve like your words around something, that'd be kind of cute, but I think they have it straight. This isn't a square block, so. All right, photopolymer. I showed you the rubber stamps have a sponge layer. Photopolymers don't, and you'll hear me say this every time I use a photopolymer on a video. I use a Stampin' Pierce mat underneath to give us a little cushion. And my table here is not very sturdy, so I have a piece of wood here that I'm going to put underneath everything. So you want a sturdy surface to stamp on, I guess is my point. And we're going to keep that handy. And then I have scratch paper. Here are all my inks. They suggest we use basic, let's see. For the words, we're going to use Coastal Cabana. Like I said, we'll talk about ink another time. I think we'll do this Let's Talk About video once a month. And then the other times we'll have some theme. I couldn't ask for a sweeter friend. So we're just going to tap, tap, tap. And then we're going to practice on scratch paper. I need more ink, so tap, tap, tap. All right. A lot of people who are just starting push really hard. Like, oh, I need ink on my stamp. And then you get ink all over your block. And then you go to stamp and you rock and you get lines. So you just need a gentle tap. If there's enough ink on your ink pad, you shouldn't have to press that hard to get ink. I wish you were here, because then we could practice together. So just a gentle tap, tap, tap. And then, like I said, just practice. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, so that was down in this corner. And push where your stamp is. So I'm not just pushing the block, I'm pushing the block over the stamp. You can see my I for I couldn't ask for a sweeter friend is kind of messy. 2 sides to my paper here, cardstock. There again, I rocked it a little bit, so I have some on my block. So I'm going to be really careful just to get the stamp. Just push in the center and left. There we go. I'm going to clean it on my chamois. There's only 1 centimeter, so I can put that back on my liner. Some of these stamps are so tiny, like that little happy face. So I like to concentrate on what I'm doing when I'm using stamps like this, because it would be very sad if you lost one of them. Let's start with the big stamps. So let's do the pineapple next. And the colors they suggested were Daffodil Delight, so that'll be our fruit part. And then we're going to use Grainy Apple Green for the green top. And so there's again, this is the one we're going to do. So I'm going to actually start with the green. Let's put this away so I don't put my fingers in it. I don't think I need that anymore. And if you look at this picture again, I'm going to show it one more time. They don't have everything just centered on there, so they've stamped, like, you can't see the whole banana, you can't see the bottom of this pineapple or that corner of the watermelon. So they stamp off the edges. That adds a lot, I think, of interest to our stamping. So I'm going to start with the green. You see what I'm doing? Not really. There. Inking up the green. And then I'm going to put it up here and leave enough room so the pineapple will come off. And then there was another one at the top, but I got ink on there. I don't want to accidentally get it on my card. So the leaves are going off. Again, I can clean that off. Those are all the greens we have from the pineapple. They do use that for this little piece that looks like a kiwi. It's so cute. All right, so Daffodil Delight. This one I am ink, 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 ink. This is a different kind of pad. This is an older version. It's felt and not foam ink pad. So I do push a little harder. And I'm just going to line up this rounded part with the rounded part here to make it look like that's the fruit is actually together. Try not to get my head in there. So I don't know if you saw, I pushed right in the middle of the stamp, not just on the block, but where the stamp was. That's pretty. Clean my stamp off. I think those are the only 2 of those, so I can put that one away. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Anne, for answering questions. Yes, the chamois is wet. It's kind of soft when you get it, but when this dries, and it'll dry overnight, especially the smaller piece, it is not pliable at all. So while I have yellow out, let's do the banana next. And there is some, put that on there. Mine's a little different, but that's all right. All right, so can you see that there is no ink right here on my stamp? That's one of the good things about the photopolymer. So you can kind of squish it around and you can see the ink on your stamp before you actually stamp it. Mine's going to look different. They had the pineapple over further and had the banana here. So I'm just going to give it the same idea. And I had a banana over here coming off our page. There we go. So I'm starting with the bigger stamps to make sure I have room for them. I do have smaller blocks also. I mean, I could keep using the D, but because I'm not being as careful, this is an A block, so this is the smallest block we have. And this is the end of the banana. Which way does this go? Let's stamp here and see what we think. I think it goes that way. And that's the other end. All right. That's the end of our banana. We have this little round one that looks like a kiwi because it's got the little kind of star shape in it. Use that again. So we'll use our Granny Apple Green ink for our kiwi. I think you saw me. Let's go this way so you can see me inking. So I'm going to start filling in a little bit. Though I want to make sure I leave room for my watermelon. Let's put one here. This one, I think I'm going to leave out in case that'd be a cute one to fill in. Oh, all right. So I'm going to put that stamp on top of my Granny Apple Green ink pad right there in case we want it. Let's do the watermelon next. This one is a little tricky. I have used this and I have some other samples to show you as well. So this one I just set down the stamp and then I pick it up with the block. And I have a second D block. And then I pick it up. So I am putting them both near the top, and that way I can, if you put it in the middle, then you're likely to get ink, if you put the stamp in the middle of a block, when you go to ink it, you're going to get ink around on your edges. So I like to keep it towards the one side. So we're going to use Shaded Spruce for the rind of our... Oh, I know why my placement is different. I'm using note cards. I think they used a full-size A2 card, 4.25 by 5.5. So mine is smaller. So I'm going to start with the more detailed part. I've learned that using other stamps that have two parts, the detailed and if you want to fill in. So we're going to fill in the rind with the, I'll say the meat of the melon. I find that it's easier if you start with the detailed. Like we have a moose stamp that's coming back. If you start with the outline detail of the moose and then add the color to him, it's easier. So can you see what I'm doing? Good. All right. So there's our rind. I think we're only going to have room for one. So clean that off. I like to keep my ink pads closed so I don't put fingers in them or... and they suggest Real Red is one of the ink spots in this that they suggested. So I'm going to ink this up. And you can look at it and see I've got a good amount of ink on there. And then I'm going to line up the top of the flat side of the melon with the top of the rind. And it lines up pretty well. And then I stamped off the edge so we don't have a full piece there. All right. Okay, clean that off. We're almost done, so hang with me a few more minutes. Thank you for joining me tonight. So I'll show you the card again. They have what looked to me to be pink grapefruit. So we're going to do that. One of the colors they suggest is Flirty Flamingo. And they have a yellow for the grapefruit, which is Daffodil Delight. So we'll do that. A lot of little pieces, really fun to play with. I think we used the bigger one. Yeah. So the bigger circle is our grapefruit part. Make sure you can see. Put one there. Just fill in where we have space. Again, that's why we started with the bigger stamps. Leave that, and Fleur de Flamingo is a very nice pink. It's a bright pink, not a baby pink. Again, I'm going to use a small block just because I have it. I'm going to line that up. I think I have my camera set so that I'm not getting my head in view. Oh, I'm a little off, but that's cute. That's cute. I think we need another one there. I really like this combination. So bright and cheery. So stamp the rind. Push in the middle. Alright, let's add a few more kiwi. I'm going to put these away because I don't want to lose these. They're really fun and it would be sad if we didn't have them. Okay, clean it off with my little piece of chamois. Alright. Put our ink away, a couple more kiwi, and then I'll show you why I cut my note card in half. Alright, so wherever I have what I think is too much white space, I'm going to add another kiwi. Just because he's so cute. We're going to add a couple going off over on this side. And maybe one up here. Alright. Put the stamps away, put my blocks away. I'm recording these videos down in my craft area, so it's really easy for me to clean up when we're done. I used to do these upstairs, and then I have to carry everything up and down, and family would have to be really quiet. Alright, so there's our piece. Remember, it was a note card that I just cut in half. Most of the colors that they recommend with this set are in the Brights family. So if you want paper that coordinates with these little stamp spots, we do offer a pack of cardstock in just our Brights. So it is on page 144. I put my post-it note in the wrong place. This is kind of hidden. So here's our the current annual catalog with all our colors, and you can get cardstock, ink pad, refill, and then most of them have blends, which are alcohol markers, but there's no cardstock packs of multicolors. So here's our Brights. So the colors they recommended were Gorgeous Grape, which we didn't use tonight, Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, Fleur de Flamingo, and then we used red instead of poppy. But these colors are available in a pack of paper, either 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12. So what I have here, this would be 20 sheets, 2 pieces of each of the 10 colors. And you could make 4 cards of each color. So this is a great deal if you're not sure what colors you're going to use the most. You get a variety. So the Daffodil Delight is what we have tonight, because I thought that went well with our bright, cheery fruit. So this is how I store. So I have a full pack of Daffodil Delight that I've cut in half. So the 8.5 by 11 I've cut to 8.5 by 5.5. And that's going to be our card base. We'll talk about making cards on another video. Today we were just talking about stamps, and I think I answered most of your questions. Did I get them all? So there I just folded it in half, and I don't have a bone folder, so in a pinch you can use your block to crease your fold. And then look, it fits just perfectly with a little bit of border around. And this is our new Stampin' Seal. When we talk about adhesives, I will talk all about this. I really like it. I've already had to refill that runner. You can call it a tape runner. Alright, we're just going to center it on there. Burnish it so it stays together. And there's our card. So fun. Oh, I can show you some other cards I've made with this stamp set. So there's kind of like a starburst, same colors. So stamping off, so I stamped, and then without re-inking, I stamped a second time. This is Gorgeous Grape. And then so I used the same colors, and then the white pieces, I don't know if you can tell, I've embossed in my embossing machine. So there's another one with just, I mean, you can't tell it was a fruit set. There's our pineapple. I inked with Daffodil Delight, and then I think used a sponge to add some early espresso to make it look a little more realistic. I have two more. Here's one, Wishing You a Slice of Happiness, the watermelon. And I found I like using sketches on my cards, so this is a sketch I had found. I wish I had embossed the black layer behind, but I noticed it after I put the card together. I don't know if you can tell, there's a layer of ribbon on there. And then I think this one is my favorite card. So I embossed the Daffodil Delight and some punches and some ribbon and some retired bling there. So smile. That's what I have for you today. Happy stamping. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have questions. I'll put that there. Yes, Alma, the fruit set is a very fun. And again, it's in the beginner brochure. It's not in the annual catalog. So if you want, like I said, if you want a paper copy of this, get in touch with me and I'll be happy to send one to you. I bought a whole bunch of them before we went to our stay-at-home order because I thought I would be seeing people, and I haven't seen people, so I have a lot of these. I can send you one. I'd be happy to do that. If you, the paper copy is much easier to look at than the PDF, but PDF is still fun. And thank you again for answering Alma's question about the chamois being wet. So, happy stamping. Thanks for joining me. I take requests, so if you want to see something specific next week, let me know. Otherwise, I thought I had an idea. Right now I can't think of what it was, but I'll come up with something in the next week. Hope you're all well, taking care of each other, and I'll be back next Monday. Thanks again for joining me. Bye.